God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but love and joy and peace and of a sound mind. And I just kept on saying that over and over. And one particular time I had gone to this very, very dangerous island where actually the ones hunting me, trying to kill me were at, NPA people, officials. I just realized there's a camera. My daughter's taking a video of this. I had gone there to get some affidavits for the case that the government was trying to clear my name with, and I was stuck there. But I had texted a lady to try to find my boat and send someone over to get me. So they came over, and I didn't tell them to bring guns, but they brought guns and brought my speedboat, picked me up. It wasn't safe for me to leave, so they went back, sent some other boys later to come and pick me up. And so I was with one boy and myself on the boat, and I ran out of gas in the most dangerous area between these two islands, where the known fact is that the people fishing out there, even the Filipinos, the people from this island come over and kill them just for their engine, just to get their engine. And I had a really nice boat. Well, I ran out of gas, and then the Filipino boy a boy that had actually robbed me that I witnessed to, he was kind of leaning and trying to do something with the rope and tipped me over. And I was trying to text for help on my iPhone. And I lost my iPhone in the ocean. I was suddenly underwater. And I had a Ziploc bag with this Bible in it, and it was safe. Well, I climbed in. He got the boat back right side up, and I climbed in, and I was just praying. And I just put my feet up. I laid back, and I thought, I'm just going to read the Bible. So I opened it up, and it just kind of fell open to this spot. And it's kind of small here. It fell open to this spot, and it really, really encouraged me. It said right here, I didn't even know where I was at. It's Isaiah 43. It said, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And I was like, wow, I'm in the water, I'm passing through the waters, so God must be with me. So I wanted to share that little story. But Ecclesiastes 12, for the youth, this afternoon. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1, how many know what that says? It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days draw nigh. Now Solomon is really interesting, because Solomon was writing, and he was older when he wrote this, and he was talking about, in a kind of a metaphoric way of speaking, in a way that some people don't understand, talking about the grinders cease and the almond tree is flourishing. And what all of that means, for example, the grinders cease is your teeth are falling out. You don't have any teeth to grind your food. The almond tree was white and flourishing with blossoms, but it's talking about your hair is turning white. And the glass is growing dim, and that's your eyes, you can't see, and you're afraid of what is low and what is high. And what he's saying is, eventually, or at some point in your life, you're going to face a time when desire will fail. And he's saying, remember God now. Now, I asked Leo if I could tell this story. He's a friend of mine, and he said, yes, you can, no problem. So I have shared it with youth, and I thought I'm going to share it with you today. So Leo was very rebellious. He was raised a Seventh-day Adventist, but he was very rebellious, and he really didn't want anything to do with the religious stuff. He didn't get into drugs, but he wanted to make a lot of money. And that was his idol, if you will. One day, he was sitting with his parents in the living room, and the door just flung open kicked open with two guys with guns. Well, at first, they didn't know if it was a joke. They were quite startled. His sister thought it was a joke. But eventually, they caught on pretty quick that these guys were for real. And they said, we want your money, we want jewelry, guns, whatever you have. Well, being a poor Seventh-day Adventist family, they didn't have any of that. They didn't have money, they didn't have guns, they didn't have any jewelry. They did have some little food in the refrigerator, which came in handy later, but they didn't know what to do. But finally, as they explained, the men told the dad, come back into the room. Have you heard this story before? Well, you'll like this. We went back to the room. He came out, and his knees were shaking. The dad could hardly walk, and Leo looked at his dad, and he saw the fear in his eyes, and he saw his legs shaking, and he said, family, prepare to die. They're going to kill us. With that, the man said, march in the garage. They went into the garage, lined him up. The man took the shotgun, he put it up like this, his friend didn't want to hear the noise and see it, so he closed his eyes and kind of turned. And he waited, and nothing happened. And he looked around, and he's like, to see what's going on. The man's trying to pull the trigger, and it's not working. And he's trying harder, and he starts cursing and cussing and using four-letter words and getting super angry because the gun is not working. Well, Leo, during that time, see, he had hated God. He had hated all the religious stuff. But at that moment, he suddenly started realizing that he had no desire for any of those things. Desire had failed him. He had no desire because he was hitting a point in his life where he knew he was going to die. And he was going to wake up apart from God. Have you ever been in a place like that? You know what it's like? To get to a point where you're facing such a crisis that suddenly the things of this world just don't mean very much anymore. And you start to think, maybe there's something about this religious stuff. So he looked over at his mom, and she was looking up. She was smiling. And she looked so happy. And he looked at his life of sin and all his rebellion, and he looked at his mother, and it was like night and day. He just was shocked. And he started thinking, I want to be like my mother. I want to have the faith of my mother. Well, see, his mother had gone into special prayer with her friends from the church, and she knew that it was something that God was going to use to get his attention. And so with that, she said, family, God's going to save us. Let's sing. And so she started singing a song, and then she said, boys, you look like you're hungry. Let me go fix you something to eat. And she just walked right past them with the guns and went into the kitchen and started fixing them some food. And they later took the boys to the brother of Leo, his car, and they got caught. But isn't that amazing how when you face death, Solomon is saying, hey, you don't have to jump into a sewer to find out that it stinks. Look and learn from other people. I always look, and Leo shares the story of the Titanic. Some of the wealthiest people were on that boat, and one very wealthy merchant, he tried everything to get onto the lifeboats. Nothing worked. Money, people didn't want the money when their life was on the line. He went to the bow of the ship as it was going down. He was screaming as people heard him. All of my riches would I give just to have another chance to live. See, if you miss Jesus, you've missed everything, young people. You've missed everything. You've missed it all. Thank you.